Hello, thanks for joining me on the Monday night, the 8th of December 2025, where it finished at Molineux. Wolves 1, Manchester United 4. Boy, it was grim. And if you could say anything that could have gone wrong tonight, it did. Well, the starting lineup from the weekend, from the latest defeat. Sorry, not the weekend. It was last Wednesday when we lost at home against Forest. There were two changes. There was Chachua dropped and Yankiana Herva in at right back, and João Gomez was suspended. So the returning Krejci played in midfield. I didn't see the first 15 minutes because there was the well publicised protest, and I took part in that to try to show Fosun what us Wolves fans think of that. So I didn't see the first 15 minutes, but I had my earpiece on my radio and I heard that Sam Johnston made a couple of good saves, and it was no surprise that when Man United went 1-0 up, but it was, it was just frustrating because there was a couple of players that looked like, from where I was sitting, that they shouldn't have been anywhere near Wolves squad tonight. And that was, I don't like to do this, but Jurgen Strand Larsen, he was woeful. A lot of the fans were giving him the bird. And Arias, who was meant to be the replacement for Mateus Cunha, well, he had a shocker as well. Whatever it was that the Wolves scouts saw in the World Club Championship when he's playing for Fluminense, when somehow he got into the team of the tournament. But whatever it was that Wolves scouts have seen in Arias, it's just been completely absent this season. I don't know if it's a mental issue, or if he's carrying some injury, or it's just psychological weakness, but he just hasn't shown anything. It was disappointing with Larsen, especially after the season, what he had last season. But none of the signings have lived up to expectation. Some of the other teams in the Premier, they've signed English players. Burnley have got Kyle Walker, Leeds got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Sunderland, they had Trey Hume. Northern Ireland International, they had Granit Xhaka. No, he's not homegrown, but they had players. They signed players with Premiership experience, which we hadn't, and we're paying the price. So even though we complained about Fosun, that the recruiting by Vitor Pereira and Domenico Teti, that didn't go well, because we had £100 million. We spent it on international players, but none with Premiership experience, and it's shown. We look woeful, and the way it stands, we look like we're on the verge of setting some unwanted records. First of all, going into Christmas with the lowest amount of points, because we've got 2 points, and it's hard to see where the next point is coming from. Because on Saturday we're away at Arsenal, and they say beware the wounded animal, and thanks to Villa, who beat them on Saturday, they're the wounded animal, and they're, even though they've got the Champions League, we go in there away on Saturday, and it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better at all. But 4-1, but we went in half time 1-1, because it was good to see John Rickner Bellegarde, who was, while he was on, before he went off, before he got nobbled, he got our equaliser. Their goal was just a comedy of errors. Andre lost the ball, but there was a lot. It was like a scene from Benny Hill, but it wasn't very funny for fans who were watching their team giving away comical goals. But we went in half time maybe a little bit hopeful, but one of the players, what fans complained about, Herva, he didn't have a bad game actually. Our goalie, he made some good saves. They had 28 shots, 10's on target, so they got 4 goals. But so it shows that he made 6 saves. So you couldn't knock those players. But it was competitive up to the point where it was 1-1. And it doesn't really matter who the opponents were tonight, but if we play like that, whoever we played, they would have beat us. We did get a goal. It was our first goal since about 6 games. Probably, I'm guessing now, that the last goal we scored was probably in the 1-1 draw against Brighton, and that was classed as an own goal, and Menezes' shot came back off the bar and went in off the back of the keeper. But the referee, he seemed to me that he was giving Man United every free kick, every time when their players went down, every time they appealed for it. They seemed to get what they wanted. But they've gone up to 6, but I say I don't care about Man United. I'm commenting about Wolves because I'm a Wolves fan. But we're down. But it was disappointing because all the substitutes what we bought, there was nobody on the bench that looked like they were capable of changing the game. But I say it's academic. We're on 2 points. We're probably about 13 points away from safety. But we have to start planning for the Championship next season when we go into the transfer window, which is going to open in a few days' time. Let's hope that we're going to get some homegrown English players with a bit of fight instead of these, no disrespect, not having to go at foreign players, but none of these are being worth the money what we've spent on them. Like I say, look at some of the other players. They've got an English core, Everton, Grealish, and you can look at all of them. But we've got our goalie. We had Matheus Mane, who came on as substitution. Hervé and Hugo Bueno, they're classed as homegrown because they came here very young and have been here a long time. But all the good players, none of them in their right mind, if they're sane and sober, they're not going to come to Wolves. Why would they? There's better alternatives. So we've got to start getting some grafters. Vitor Pereira turned down the chance to sign some English players who would have done us good. But we've got to, like Einstein says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So we've got to start getting some fighters. We've got to change the whole ethos of the club. And the way it stands, it's hard to see where we're going to get any wins from. So we've got 2 points, 15 games. So there's not the points to play for is diminishing. Not that's just academic. We're down in reality, but we've got to start planning for the future. We've got to have players who are going to be in it for the long term, because I say the decent players, they're going to look at Wolves' plight, look at the way we're playing, and they're going to say no thank you. But it finished here. Wolves 1, Man United 4, and it's away at Arsenal at the weekend, so it's looking bleak. But whatever happens, we'll support Wolves. Yeah, I did support the protest and stayed out for the first 15 minutes, but I managed to get a late ticket, and the supervisor at work, he gave me the time off. But it finished here. Wolves 1, Man United 4, but up the Wolves even in adversity. Thank you. Apologetic round of applause by the Wolves fans, by the players.